Hello again, everybody. Harry Boxer, Technical Trader. It's Tuesday, the 16th of April. These are the charts of the day at TechTrader.com. Well, certainly a big day in Wall Street as the markets came back with a roar. Technicals were good. Prices were great. They closed at the high for the day. We certainly had a lot of bullish stocks moving up today. Let's take a look at some of the stocks we like. Even though ACAD did not have a big day today, it did pop to 1265 before backing off. It's up 23 cents or a couple percent today, but 3.3 million traded, and it looks to me like this little pennant or wedge that's forming in here could be a very bullish one, especially after the pop we had last week on ACAD. If this thing can come out of here with a thrust, I'm looking for 17, folks. Could be very, very interesting. Of course, first we got to get through the 1390-14 zone. We get through that, it could fly. We'll see what happens. And it may very well just drift for a few more days before it goes. ACOR, another junior biotech with a rip after the rising channel over the last 4 months. It exploded yesterday, and what a follow-through day. Up another 428 or 12% today on 2.3 million. That's the biggest volume traded since October. It did get to a key resistance zone and overhead resistance from the highs back in 2010 when it reached 40.48. So we're up against this all-time high territory. And according to it could be interesting if we can get a follow through here. We can see this one rip up into the mid-40s potentially. BCRX. I'm sorry, that wasn't on. Shouldn't have been on today. BIOL I wanted to talk about. Very interesting pattern because even though it's had 5 waves up, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up, it's now consolidated and moved up again. It sat here for 3 days, consolidating once again. This little flag, perhaps. Let's call it a little mini pennant or so. But in any case, if it comes out of here with any kind of thrust in volume, I'm looking for this to get to the 6.5 range, my next trading target, BIOL, at the top of the channel. Nice looking pattern indeed, and the volume's coming back into it. Technicals look great. Underlying unbalanced volume shows a high for the year, certainly what you want to see when you're getting a stock to move like that. For a follow-through, anyway. CLDX. I'm highlighting this because it was a recent swing trade. I like the way it moved up to test the highs and backed off, but it's tested the trend line and lateral price support here, and it's holding in a little trading range or flag type pattern. Once and if stock gets above 12.35, that would be an area to keep an eye on. 12.5. 12.35 to 50 is the zone of resistance. To get through that, I'm looking for 14.25 and then 16.5. CRE put on our swing trade list today. I just like the way this is looking overall. Explosive move here led to that move there, but you can see each time it consolidates nicely, it pops again. This consolidation pulled back here led to a test of the 50 and the trend line. That held and it's moved right back up to resistance. Should we move through here, I can see a 5th wave off of this move. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th wave could take us into the mid-60s. So I'm looking for an 8 to 10 point swing trade on CRE here. Let's see if we get a follow through first. First Solar, looking like it wants to go again, but it is consolidating nicely. I just wanted to show you the setup. This little tight little falling wedge or flag after the explosive move is normal, particularly on low volume, but the technical's holding up well. Now, I'm not sure how much longer we have to consolidate. It could be a day, it could be a week or two, but the bottom line is at some point, I'm looking for this to move into the mid-40s at least, 43, 44, perhaps even as high as 47, 48. We'll see. GNMK, Genmark, broke out across this little flagging pattern, jumping 85 cents or 6.25% today. Light volume, but this is a thinly traded stock. Just wanted to point out to you the pattern that's been in place is a rising channel that was broken through the top, tested once, pulled back and tested again, and today up. So what may be happening here is an accelerated move or accelerated channel. And if that is the case, look for CLDX, Genmark, to make a move into the top of this channel. And on the 5th wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th wave should take us about 15.5, another point or so from where we are. And then we'll see if it accelerates or not. HIMX, another good day today, jumping 57 cents, nearly 10%. And with 7 million shares traded today, the best in a week, this looks like it's about to go. If you get through that 663 area, and today's high is 657, very nearly there. We could see that explode into the 7.5 range, and then secondary target up around 8.5. IMMR doing very well with a big reversal day today from 10 to 11.58, close to 4 cents off the high up $1.25 or 12%. Volume of 600,000 was the best in about 3 weeks. What I need to see is a takeout of 12. Once that occurs, wouldn't surprise me to see IMMR make some further upside progress, at least to the 14.15 zone. Centaurus looking great. And look at the rising channel. Look at that action today. New all-time highs. And I'm looking for some extension to reach the top of the channel up around the, call it 19.5 area, short term. And depending on whether it accelerates or not, we could see 21 or so. Tesla, big day, another pop. Yeah, notice how after the big gap 2 weeks ago, it came down and held that zone of support here for about a week. And then it popped, pulled back, and then today popped again for another 229 or 5.3%. More than 3 million traded, but nearly 3.2 traded, and that's the biggest volume in a couple of weeks as well. So at this point, I'm looking for a test at the top of the channel around 48, and we'll see if it can accelerate into the low 50s. And last thing on the long side is UNXL. That's been so good to us. And look at that move here from the mid-single digits to 38 today. Not just since December, so how about that? Today, this wedge was broken with a thrust to the upside and perhaps a new rising channel, but we'll see if we can get it up to test that 40-41 range tomorrow. Now, on the short side, there are a few stocks I want to point out. Atlas Worldwide, formerly a swing trade of ours on the short side, you can see why. It did finally, after coming down and bouncing up to make a higher high, that met this line here, failed and rolled over hard from nearly 49 down to 38 and change, so 10, 11 point drop. Now it's reached a point at which here this massive top information has a neckline. There could be some support here, but if it breaks, looking for 33.5 very quickly. Now CCL was actually up 14 cents today, but take a look at the pattern. It's still within a wedging pattern with below the declining top line and declining moving averages. So I'm thinking that this wedge is going to fail, and this is going to roll over to 31.5 and then down towards 30. Those are my next targets. CYBX rolled over, and how? Down another $1.29 or almost 3%. Take a look at the pattern. This overall wedge was broken a few days ago. It snapped back to retest and failed again, and today rolled over substantially. I'm looking to see if these lows from July around 43 and January about 42 and change are broken or not. But certainly looks like a big head and shoulders top information, which could lead to the mid to high 30s at least on this one. NTI rolled over a little bit this week, and then today ran up to 26.44 before backing off $1. Closed at 25.5, up 19 cents, but near the lower end of the range, and that's a good thing to have when you're short. I want to point out the one leg down wedge, third leg down wedge, and then a fifth leg down, excuse me. But I think that if this breaks here, we're going to see this come down into the 22 zone. That's my target. And lastly is RNF, which continues to work well. We gave you a short here. It's come down nicely, continues to make lower lows, and is right on key support. You take a look at this pattern here. We break that, and the next potential support is all the way down around 27.5 near the bottom of the channel. Right there. And that's it for tonight, both long and short. Good luck tomorrow. Should be interesting. Bye-bye.